Welcome to the Third Generation Wrestling Podcast with your hosts, Eric and Rob.
Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Third Generation Wrestling Podcast. 3GW here on Wrestlemania week, kicking it off here with our NXT Stand and Deliver post-show podcast. I'm your host, The Real Big E, my co-host, Rob, the Ambassador. How you doing? How'd you enjoy Stand and Deliver?
Well, I thought for the most part, Stand and delivered. I think I enjoyed last night a little more, but tonight was still. I mean, look, man, it was a solid pay-per-view. But yeah, we'll get to the specifics.
Yeah, I think we're in the same boat. I kind of felt like I didn't know what you would think. Sometimes we're, in line with each other, and other times we're on the other side of the boat. So, not gonna dilly-dally here tonight. It's already kind of late. But did want to make sure we got this show in because we got a lot going on this weekend. So let's just go ahead and get into it. NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver, the first two-night takeover. I almost felt like they could have taken some stuff off of tonight and made last night one longer show. A couple of the matches that were still good, but just I didn't think that they needed to be on Takeover, so to speak. But let's go ahead and get to night one, kicking it off with Nita Strauss performing the national anthem, and there were actual fans in attendance. So we had the real fans in attendance, and they had the video board, which was kind of weird because they were still piping in the crowd noise with a crowd. It just didn't feel right. Like I really want to know, and I hope maybe somebody out there that was in attendance could describe what that's like, being there and then hearing extra noise over the speakers, because it's not a big building. It's not like you're at a stadium and they're piping in the noise and you kind of can go with the flow. But when you're in a 1,000-seat arena, that's not really you can be easily distracted, I guess is what I'm saying. It's very noticeable.
Yeah, I wonder how many fans were actually in attendance. Maybe that's why they piped in noise. Maybe they didn't think the fans that were there would be enough to make noise. This is a pay-per-view, a big-time pay-per-view, and I guess they just wanted to make sure that the atmosphere was there.
Yeah, I felt like last night they were way, way more lively than tonight. And I guess we'll get into it, but I think the consensus is going to be that night one was better than night two, even though on paper we thought night two was going to be the better one. So it's a unique dichotomy, I guess. So I know on night one we had the pre-show match with Toni Storm and I always forget her name, something Stark.
Zoe Stark,
yeah. I thought it was an okay match. I don't know how I feel about them pushing her this hard. Toni Storm's been losing quite a bit lately. I like Toni Storm. I think I don't know if she's a good heel, though. She was kind of one of those things with one of those people that didn't really need to be put as a heel. I thought she was doing fine as a babyface. Just needed to be in the right position. But she's been losing quite a bit. I think they liked Stark. I think she's okay. She just seems cookie cutter to me. I don't know how you feel about it. I gave the match a C. Thought it was middle of the road. It's all right.
I gave it a B-. I wasn't blown away either. Stark, I mean, they are trying to build her up, but she has been losing most of her matches. This is her first big win, and it was on a pay-per-view, so maybe they believe in her. Storm, I agree with you that the heel Toni Storm isn't really working for me, but I still think they have big plans for her.
Yeah. And if Doc was here, we'd be talking about how thick she is, but it cannot be it can't be missed if you watch her matches. But all right, getting to the main card here. Got Pete Dunne and Kushida kicking this thing off. This is the technician match. Who's the best, the supreme technical wrestler? And Pete Dunne claims he's the best in the world. And he goes up against Kushida here. I thought this was a decent way to start the show. Slower pace, methodical. I expected that. But man, when Pete Dunne gets to doing the joint manipulation, I've already disclosed how I feel about fingers being bent and ripped at. I told you I would rather be shot than you pulling my fingers. And Kushida, the way he sold it, and you could see like toward the end of the match, like his fingers were even bleeding from all the joint manipulation stuff. It was brutal. Pete Dunne did win with the bitter end. As I predicted, I gave the match a B. I thought it was solid, but I wasn't wowed. But I thought the right person won for sure.
Yeah, I went B plus. I enjoyed it. I did pick Dunn to win, but I would have been okay with Kushida winning. But I thought these two worked well together. I thought this was a great start to the main card, and yeah, B plus.
All right. After that, we had the number one contender gauntlet eliminator with Isaiah Swerve Scott, Leon Ruff, LA Knight, Cameron Grimes, Bronson Reed, and I think that was it, right?
Let's see.
Dexter Lumis.
Did you get all 6?
And Dexter Lumis.
Yep.
So, match started off. Ruff got eliminated early. He took a nasty bump early on, so he was taken out. Lumis came out. He got eliminated when Lumis was making his entrance, and he had locked in the silence on Grimes, and the LA Knight rolled him up to pin Lumis, and then Grimes, Reed, and Scott hit their finishes on LA Knight to put him away, and then Lumis attacked LA Knight after the match. Swerve Scott eliminated Cameron Grimes with a roll up, grabbing the tights, and then it was Swerve and Bronson Reed. These two did some great work. I was really impressed with Swerve Scott. I just wish he would change his gear. He looks a little ridiculous with his robe or whatever you want to call that thing he wears to the ring. But I really liked that move he did off the top turnbuckle on Reed. He hit the edge of the ring, and then that 450 off the top rope. 3 house calls. Reed still kicks out, but a tsunami splash later. Bronson Reed wins the match and goes on to face Johnny Gargano on night 2. I gave it an A. I thought it was a great match, and I thought they should have started the show with it.
I gave it an A as well. And yeah, I wouldn't have been mad if they started with this. I had picked Lumis to win, but I was glad that they gave this spot to Bronson Reed. I know he doesn't have the ideal physique. I said this in the chat we were doing last night, but the dude can work. He's a good worker. And I was glad to see him get the spot against Gargano.
I don't hate the guy. I do think he did good work in this match particularly, but I just think that it would have been the match would have had more star power with Johnny if it was Swerve, if it was even Lumis. But you know who I wanted to win.
Cameron Grimes. The one you used to hate.
I don't know what they did or what happened, but dude just grew on me. He's got so much charisma. And he's hilarious. I'm sorry. And he's about as hairy as A-Train. Shit. Okay. Now, I knew this next match was gonna be great. And they blew my expectations out of the water. This might be my favorite match of both nights, to be honest with you. for the NXT UK Championship, Tomaso Ciampa versus Walter. Finally, he shaves that damn head again because he's supposed. I mean, look, I get it. You can grow hair, but no, dude, it's way the fuck back here, and it's all gray. It's not even black anymore.
Yeah, let it go. We all, some of us get to that point, like myself. You gotta let it go.
Yeah, I mean, but it's different when you go from we've only seen you bald, and then all of a sudden you have hair again, and it's like, what are you doing? But he had his old ring gear when he was with DIY, so to speak, that style, and he was really intense in this match. He even shaved his chest. He never shaved his chest before. I just wish Walter would learn how to, do the same. Maybe pick up a weight here and there, or eat some broccoli. I don't know, slim down, something. He's a big dude, but not in a good way. But he can move. He can work. This match was absolutely fantastic. I was hanging on every move. Walter with that big boot at the start of the match, and then Champa. How many running clotheslines did Champa hit at that one segment in the match? He just kept hitting the ropes and hitting the ropes and clotheslining them. And obviously, Walter came out and clotheslined him. And that, first of all, he picked up Walter and hit White Noise. And then he followed up hitting the fairy tale ending on big ass Walter. He kicked out. And then there was a top rope White Noise, and Walter still kicked out. I mean, this was insane. Walter had stomped on the neck of Ciampa, hit 2 power bombs. Ciampa kicked out, but it was at the end here when Walter, I think he hit over the back suplex, and then a big time chop to the chest of Ciampa, and he pinned Ciampa to retain his championship. A+. Fantastic match. I implore and everybody to go back and watch this match. This was my favorite match of both nights.
Yeah, this might be my favorite match of the year. I mean, this was spectacular. Spectacular. Yeah. I mean, Ciampa gave away almost 100 pounds in this match. Walter's not just big, but he's a powerful guy. I mean, we were talking about, Flair's chops, Benoit's chops. Walter is brutal with these chops of his. And Ciampa was taking so much punishment. That boot he took, I thought he might have been actually knocked out by that for a short while. But then he would come back, like you said, man, he was picking Walter up and hit him with a couple of moves. It was good back and forth, but it was just a case of a good big man beating a good little man. And Walter wins it. But man, that was a physical, brutal, awesome match.
Yeah.
A+.
Straight up, man. That was absolutely incredible. That just goes to show you, Ciampa and even Walter. I had a feeling they would have great chemistry, and they did. I really enjoyed it.
Both of those guys have to be feeling it still today.
Oh man, did you see Walter's chest?
Oh
After
man,
the fact, man, it looked like Daniel Bryan's chest.
It did.
Oof, like ground beef. And then we had another great match, triple threat NXT Tag Team Championship match, MSK versus Legado del Fantasma versus the Grizzly Young Vets. These 3 teams are absolutely fantastic. It goes to show when you really care about the tag team division, what you can do. And I don't get it. I don't know why the main roster, they just don't care about the tag team championships. But you can watch this match, you can see what happens when you do. All these guys are young. I want to say I expected MSK to kind of steal the match, and they did. But I was mostly impressed by Legado. Those dudes, was it Joaquin Wilde and I can't think of the other guy's name. But those 2 guys, I mean, they really impressed me with this match. But MSK, Wes Lee especially, when he got that hot tag, I mean, the shit he was doing, he flipped outside the ring and then flipped backwards into the ring and doing it was nuts. And MSK did pick up the win, pinning the Grizzled Young Vets, and they are the new NXT Tag Team Champions. Well deserved. They won the Dusty Classic. Really looking forward to seeing what they do in the future. And yeah, I gave this another A. This was a solid A match.
Boy, I mean, we're on point. I guess that just tells you how good this card was or this night was. I gave it an A as well. I mean, MSK just has really, really impressed me. When they first came on the scene in NXT, I kind of wondered, why the big push for these guys? But now that I've gotten to see them work over these past few months, man, so impressed. But like you said, Legado del Fantasma, we already knew grizzled young veterans, what they could do. They've been around a little longer than these other two teams. But man, great work by all 6 of these guys. I'm really looking forward to MSK. And then, of course, the touching moment at the end when they win. We know I don't know if you've heard the story about. I believe Nash Carter is the other member. You mentioned Wesley, but I believe Nash Carter is the other guy. And his father died before he got to see his son make it to big time wrestling. So there's a little story there, and you can see the real emotion at the end as him and Wesley are celebrating their victory. So yeah, great match.
Yeah, those guys are legit. Those guys are real legit. Now, the main event, and I was so glad. And one of our special guests, normally on the show, he would appreciate this. Stephanie McMahon was in attendance for this match. Raquel Gonzalez versus Eoshirai for the NXT Women's Championship. And I didn't know what to expect with this match. I know Raquel has done, I've never seen anybody, maybe Rhea Ripley, develop so fast. But I want to say Raquel's was just a little bit better because she really came from like, who is this to be, as we're going to talk about here in a minute, having this main event match at a takeover. And wow, she stood out at War Games, and she damn sure stood out last night. But I have to say, as much as she stood out, Eoshirai is the freaking MVP of the whole night. Jesus Christ, she nuts. I've never seen somebody. She called that match. You can't tell me anything else. She was in complete control of that match. It felt like she called every single spot, whether she was on offense or taking the bumps. The moonsaults she was doing, and even the offense that Raquel had in the beginning dominating her. But once they got to the outside, that double drop kick on the ramp was nuts. And then I like the camera work, because then they pan up and she's on top of the skull, which is 20 feet in the air. And she does a splash off of that onto a steel grate below on Raquel. Absolutely nuts. Gets right back up and still beating on Raquel. But when you're 6 feet tall versus 5 feet tall, that's a big difference. And you're looking at about 50 pounds of weight difference. That's all it took. Raquel hit that one-arm power bomb on the outside and then pretty much rolled EO back in the ring. EO did hit her top rope moonsault, but Raquel was the first woman ever to kick out of it. And one-arm power bomb later again. And we have a brand new NXT Women's Champion. My only problem is Raquel's a heel. And she had a babyface celebration. It's nitpicky, but I feel like she should have won and she should have had an attitude about it. Like, what did y'all think was about to happen? Look at me. I'm 6 feet. I'm jacked. I'm not ugly. I'm still nice looking. But y'all thought I was going to lose to her? Like, that should have been her mentality to me. Like, yeah, enjoy the moment, but be an asshole about it because you're still a heel and you're a giant heel. It's just I don't know. we're staying in the wrestling dynamic, it's just I just wish he would have healed it up for real, instead of doing it was a true babyface celebration. But outside of that, I love the match. I still gave this an A as well because I thought these women. Raquel won the match and she's the champion, but I'm sorry, Eoshirai is the MVP. Without Io, that match would not have been what it was.
Yeah, I think it was our end of year 2019 show. I picked Io as a star I thought was going to be a big star, and she was. 2020 was her year, and I mean, we were there at Takeover in Chicago when she did a moonsault off the top of the War Games cage.
Yeah.
Okay, Genius of the Sky. That's what she calls herself. I mean, this lady can do things. And I mean, she's just incredible to watch. As much as I wanted Io to win, I just knew it was Raquel's time. But I knew that they would tear the house down. I knew that Io would do something crazy. But I knew that Raquel, who's just so big and bad, would show that, prove that, and that she would win. And I think she's the right choice to now lead the women's division. I didn't have a problem with the celebration because NXT, we forget, it's still developmental. And I think when these young stars finally reach this pinnacle, it's hard not to react with real emotion as opposed to the character you're playing sometimes. I'll give her a pass for that because on Tuesday, I'm sure she's going to be healing it up, rubbing it in people's faces. We'll see more of that because she's a heel and she's a great heel. But I'll give her a pass because it was real emotion in a big time moment, probably the biggest moment in her career thus far. I don't know if I give my grade, but if I haven't, another A. I mean, this pay-per-view was just killing it last night.
Yeah, I thought night one was absolutely perfect. I didn't expect it to be. Maybe that's why. At least partially why. But I was thoroughly entertained. It was the best NXT pay-per-view they've probably done in almost a year. I mean, outside of War Games. Outside of War Games, this was the best we'd seen in a long time.
It was.
All right, on to night two. Getting right to it. So I understand the NXT vibe is kind of this dark, gritty, has like a rock feel to it, but I don't really care for the music selections all the time. Like it's this demonic sounding music, like the Poppy that performed tonight. I'm like, okay, this is a bit much. I'm okay with somebody performing something that's gonna get me pumped up. Or if you're gonna have it, at least switch up the genre every now and then. Have somebody rock, have somebody, hip hop sometimes, or regular rock. It doesn't have to be this this hardcore sounding all, like I said, demonic and shit. Like it was just a bit much. If you look at Poppy Hood, you didn't think she could sound like that. It almost sounded like she was possessed.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Poppy. I'm not really a big fan of a lot of the new music, So I did like Rob Zombie's King Freak, though, as a theme song for NXT. I was okay with that, but I agree with you, Poppy. That really didn't work for me either.
Yeah, Rob Zombie, though, he never really... I can understand what he's saying, and his music. I think he's like, it just sounds like rock music to me. But that tonight was that was something else. But hey, I guess that's the mood they go for with NXT. I did not see the pre-show match. I know you did. So if you just want to recap that real fast, I'll just give you a grade and just say who won.
Yeah, it was Breezango versus Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. I gave it a C plus. I thought it was just an average match. They kind of went. This match had kind of a comedy edge to it that I really didn't enjoy. But when Killian Dane came in for the hot tag, he was doing some good moves for a big guy. Things I'd never seen him do before. To me, that was the best thing about the match. Without what he did, this would have been a C or a C minus. But I gave it a C plus for Killian Dane's performance.
Killian Dane's a lucky guy. Been seeing a lot of pictures of Nikki lately.
Man, and she's lost weight. I thought Nikki looked fine before, but she's lost weight and looks even better.
Yeah, she does. I'm very curious to see what you think of this first match, though. The Cruiserweight Championship ladder match. Jordan Devlin versus Santos Escobar. A little backstory. So Jordan Devlin was the Cruiserweight champion, but with COVID and all the travel restraints, they had to crown a new champion, or at least an interim champion, and did a tournament, and Santos Escobar won. Some of the travel bans have been lifted, and Jordan Devlin, among others, have been able to travel back to the States, and we got this conflict now. Kind of like the one we had with Sami Zayn and AJ Styles, two Intercontinental champions. So now we got two cruiserweights. I had really high expectations with this match, and maybe that hurt it, but I think it was still entertaining. This is one of those things where I felt like Santos is a great worker, but I think Jordan Devlin stole the show. I mean, that moonsault off the top of the freaking ladder, that was nuts. And the Spanish fly off the ladder was nuts too. I was nervous when Legado del Fantasma came out and interfered and threw him off the ladder, and he went flying over the top rope. Like, oh, thank God he landed on his feet, because that could have been really bad. But it's the two men are fighting on the top of the ladder. Escobar hits him with a headbutt and knocks Devlin through another ladder, breaking it in half. And Escobar takes down both belts, and he is the undisputed Cruiserweight champion. I ended up giving the match just a B, only because I've seen so many ladder matches, and I just didn't feel like this one lived up to my hype. It's not a knock on the guys. I think they still did great work, especially Jordan Devlin, and he took that nasty-ass bump at the end. I don't ever want to take that kind of punishment, but I still think as a match, it was just a B.
Yeah, a lot of people may not like this. I went B minus, and I feel kind of the same way you did about the match. Maybe my expectations were too high, but I just thought it would be a better match. Not that it was bad. Jordan Devlin was doing some incredible things. Like I said, that moonsault off the ladder was picture perfect. I mean, he's at the top of that ladder and he flips over, and I mean, he lands it.
He lands perfectly. It,
yeah. But one of my pet peeves, Legado del Fantasma had no business coming into the ring.
Yeah.
It didn't really affect the match at all. I know it's heel stuff, and I know that Escobar is a heel, but I just hate that. I guess now any match that has any type of stipulation, that means that outside interference is legal. And it's just really getting old, and it really didn't have a point to this match. So that's why I had to take it down to a B minus. It was a B match, but just that brief interference of Legado del Fantasma, I had to drop it. I just do not like that. Anything goes, whatever the rules are, street fight, cage match, it should be anything goes involving the two combatants. It shouldn't mean that your mom, your cousin, your brother, daughter, sister jump into the ring and it's all legal.
No, I agree. Like, I even got irritated. I don't normally get irritated. I'm like, really? Come on now. These two are working hard, and y'all going to come in and mess this up. And then it was, like I said, it was scary the way they threw him off the ladder. He was at the tip top, and he went over the top rope. That's a long way down.
Yeah.
Okay, after that, we got the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship. Still getting used to saying that. The Way versus Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon. The one thing I can take away, it was two things I can take away from this match. One, I really appreciate Ember Moon's tribute to Road Dogg. I don't know if you caught that. That was nice. And my God, Shotzi Blackheart scared the shit out of me with that suicide dive. And I thought she landed on her head. You can't tell me she didn't. And I it's partially her fault, but it's also, Candice LeRae should know better, especially. You got to be in the right spot for that. So that had me worried. The match itself, honestly, this was kind of NXT TV quality of a match. Nothing crazy. Not. It didn't feel like a takeover match. So I ended up just giving it a C plus. Ember Moon and Blackheart do retain, but Shotzi hits a top rope senton, and yeah, I guess the right people won.
Well, I definitely agree. The right people won. I gave it a B. I like Shotzi and Ember, but I don't know, man. I felt like tonight. Look, it's a big pay-per-view, a big spot. They're defending their titles on a major pay-per-view for the first time. I felt like maybe they brought a little too much energy. Like you said, Shotzi, to me, that dive, I agree with you that Candice LeRae may not have been in the right spot, but I also felt like Shotzi just overshot it a little bit.
Oh, definitely on her.
Yeah. But look, these ladies are entertaining. I'm really enjoying them. I think they're a good pairing because both of them are kind of, I want to figure out a nice way to say this. They're unique characters, but I think they work well together. But I enjoyed Candice LeRae, and I was kind of impressed with Indy Hartwell. She impressed me more than she has in the past. She's tall, and I think there's some potential with her. But I think the right girls right now have the title, and I'd like to see them get a good run. I like what they're doing with the women's division. I think there's a lot of talent in the women's division. Maybe when Casey Catanzaro is back, maybe her and Kaden Carter get in the mix like they were before. But right now, I think the champions are the right people, Shotzi and Ember.
I sure hate to bring the show down, but
you're getting the same news I'm getting.
Yeah. I don't know if it's confirmed, but I'm pretty sure by the time in the morning it's gonna be about DMX. It's not confirmed, but it's not looking good either. So I don't want to report anything that's not true. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I'm just getting the news from someone who's texting me, so I don't know if it's confirmed either. But what I do know is that I've been following this story all week, and it does not sound good.
No.
He had a heart attack, and he was on life support for a while, and then I heard that he was in what was described as, this isn't me saying it, this is what I read, a vegetative state. They've been holding vigils, but I don't know. Once again, we can't confirm anything, but it doesn't sound good.
No. Nope. Very sad. I mean, we can hope for a miracle, but it's kind of one of those things where, you walk that line of hoping for a miracle and hoping for the person to have peace. And yeah. All right, getting back to wrestling here. Where are we? Women's Championship. Okay, so after that we had the North American Championship match, Johnny Gargano versus Bronson Reed, and this is where I go back to my problems with Bronson Reed, and I didn't think that he was a very good opponent for Johnny Gargano, and that was proven right. I feel like. Not for the whole match. I do feel like Bronson Reed did some good work. But at the same time, when it came down to, how Gargano always at the end of his matches, he turns it up. We had the near falls and we had the good spots. there was a couple botches in the match that were not his fault. There were Bronson Reed, and you know, I don't know. They just bother me. Like, this is Takeover. I don't think you're not supposed to have these kind of mistakes. And yeah, it just took it down. It was kind of like a Nyla Rose situation where I think he just ran out of gas. I really feel like he just ran out. And while I think he could have a future eventually one day, I don't think that Johnny is the good opponent for right now. And that's why I mean, like, Swerve Scott would have been a better opponent. I joke about it, but Cameron Grimes would have been a way better opponent, even LA Knight. But I gave this again another C plus. Gargano did retain, hitting 1 final beat DDTs. So the right person won, in my opinion. And you know, I don't like hating on NXT talent when I know they have that potential, but I just didn't feel like this was a good matchup.
Yeah, I think the right person won, and I predicted Gargano to win, but I like the match better than you. And I thought, you know, I agree about botches. I don't know if I would use the word botch, but there was some sloppy moments. But I thought these two worked pretty well together for Bronson being so big and Johnny being so small. I thought, you know, it is an odd matchup, but I thought it worked given their size difference and given the fact that Johnny is so quick and so fluid in what he does. Obviously, I'm not going to expect that from Reed, but I expect him to be able to keep up and make it look good. And I thought he did that. And to me, the match flowed better than I thought it would. I like you, thought that I was glad Reed won last night, but I didn't think that, you know, maybe him and Johnny would be the best matchup, but I ended up enjoying the match more than I thought. So, yeah, I gave it a B plus. I was entertained.
All right. After that, we got the NXT Championship match between Finn Balor and Karrion Kross. I had a good time with this match. I was looking forward to this match. I've been looking forward to this match for quite a while. I felt like this was going to be where they were going to go once Kross came back, and we did get it. It wasn't the barn burner I wanted, but I still felt like it was hard hitting. These two did some good work. I like that both of them have kind of, well, more so Kross has the martial arts background. And, you know, I like the video package was fantastic for this match, especially the training montages. But, you know, I thought that there was a couple times I thought, man, Balor might pull this off. But no, in my heart and my soul, I knew Karrion Kross was going to pick up this win, and he did. I didn't know that, you know, I didn't know how he was going to do it. He tried to use a submission, then that didn't work. Balor hit the coup de grace, but they got countered. That's when they got countered into Kross's submission hold. And it was that forearm shot to the back of the head that did it. And Karrion Kross is now the new two-time NXT champion. I'm happy about it. I like Karrion Kross. I like him and Scarlett together. I think the act is great. The Fall and Pray, I could probably do without. But everything else is pretty good. It's not the best, but I like it. So I gave it a B plus.
Okay, I gave it an A. And, you know, I've been not a critic of Kross. I'm just not as into his character as you, and I think a lot of people are. Like I always say, I think I'm missing the boat on that. But what I will say is I thought this was the best performance I've seen from Kross. I really enjoyed this match. I like the whole thing of Finn coming in and trying to take this young guy into the deep water. And I mean, the way the match played out, you had Finn, it seemed like he was always a step ahead of Kross. And there was a time where he really had Kross reeling. And I thought, wow, Finn's going to win this. But at the end of the day, just the strength and brute force of Kross overcame Balor, and he won. And look, I might not be a big fan, but I think he'll make a good champion, and I think he's the right guy at the right time to beat Finn. And now maybe Finn gets to go back to the main roster, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, I look forward to seeing some of the future matchups they can do with Kross. Like I said, haven't really been a fan, but I was impressed with him tonight. And the match was an A to me. Really enjoyed it.
Good. And, whew, man, last but not least, we got the unsanctioned match between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. I mean, they really set the stage here. You know, black ropes. The referee had a black shirt. How did you feel about Adam Cole's entrance? New music, but still doing the Adam Cole way back and the boom.
I'm going to have to get used to it.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not what I'm used to. So yeah, like you, I wasn't really feeling it, but we'll see what happens over time.
When I really tried to listen hard, it sounded like a remix of the Undisputed Era theme, but with a guitar. I don't know. I think once you change your music, and if you used to do a certain pose or a certain thing with the old song, it's a little hard to do. The only person that I can think of that was able to translate, well, two people. Okay, three. That could translate when they changed their theme. Well, Rock changed his theme all the time, but it kind of was the same theme, just remixed. And then Triple H, he had two different songs. He was able to do the same pose in the water spit with My Time and The Game. And then, of course, the one I was really thinking of was Randy Orton. His original theme and then the voices, he could still do his poses. So that's really who I was thinking of, was Randy. But again, nitpicky stuff. I guess we're all going to miss hearing that Undisputed Era theme. Maybe one day down the road they get back together. Wondering where the hell is Bobby Fish and all this?
Yeah, that's interesting. I know he was injured for a while, and gosh, I can't remember the last time I saw him on TV. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. It's funny because I listened to the Wrestling podcast and somebody mentioned the fact that Bobby Fish he's a bigger guy in person than you think. I'm like, no, he's not. You can't tell me. I stood right next to him. Look, seriously, Kyle O'Reilly is taller than me by like 2 inches. And I have to look at that picture again. But him and Roderick are only like a few inches taller than me. And Bobby Fish is shorter than me. So there you go. But anyway, getting into this match, this grudge match, I thought this was brutal in a different way. Is it just me? Or were you getting that Adam Cole was channeling Triple H? I really felt like it.
I kind of felt that.
Yeah. The way I guess there was, not to go there, but he was being very cerebral with the tools and stuff he was using. And when the toolbox came out, I really thought Triple H. I'm like, okay. Kyle O'Reilly really impressed me in the match. All his counters, his submission moves, like they are legit. But part of me felt like this match was still missing something. I don't know what it is. The beginning was kind of slow. It did pick up, and I enjoyed all the bumps. I was worried when Adam Cole put those two chairs back to back. I was like, oh, please don't do that spot again, because I don't know how you survived it the first time. But they ended up doing something different with that, and I was like, I was glad. The hardest bump, though, had to be, I guess, on the announce table when O'Reilly had Cole up in the air and dropped him on his head and the table didn't budge. That was nasty. That was nasty. But in the end, I mean, they had pliers and chains and chairs. It was crazy. Kyle O'Reilly wraps his chain around his knee, hits the top rope knee as Cole is laid out over a steel chair, and he hits the knee on Cole on the chair, and he pins Cole and wins the match. But also the EMTs come out, and I guess Cole gets carted off. Not so much carted off during the broadcast, but when we go off the air with Kyle O'Reilly at the stage, staring at his former leader, and I don't know. I was kind of waiting on Bobby Fish or Roderick Strong to come out, but no, nothing happened. That was it. I gave this match another B plus. I did not feel it was A quality because when I look back at previous Undisputed Era matches, the matches between Champa and Gargano, and the matches between Champa and Aleister Black, those were A matches. This one was good. It was really long. Made the show go way over than last night, too. I don't know. I feel bad giving it a B plus almost, but that's just where I'm at with it. That's where I didn't give any matches on this card an A tonight. I just felt like night one over delivered. Night two was just good. So that's where I'm at.
Well, I only gave it a B, and I feel great about my B. This match was a disappointment, and the spots when Cole pulls out the toolbox and he pulls out some pliers, I know damn well you ain't going to use no pliers. No, come on. Before that, O'Reilly had bought in the chain and he wrapped the chain around his boot and did those stupid kicks to Cole's face that we do.
Yeah.
I know that ain't that doesn't hurt. I mean, that didn't even look good. Come on.
That was bad.
Yeah. This match just was a letdown. And you said it was really long. I thought it was just way too damn long. It could have ended 10 minutes sooner, as far as I'm concerned. It was just too long. I like both of these guys. I was looking so forward to this match. And I don't even think it's a case of my expectations being too high. It just, to me, wasn't a very good match between these two. Yeah, they had some big spots, but, along with the big spots, there has to be some good wrestling. And I just didn't feel like that was there. I understand that it's a street fight. It's unsanctioned. And so maybe that type of thing goes out the window. There was one segment in the match where Cole gets mad at the referee, punches the referee out, knocks him out cold.
Oh, yeah, that was stupid.
And then like 5 seconds later, he tries to pin O'Reilly, knowing damn well you just punched out the ref.
Yeah, you knock out the ref, you hit the Panama Sunrise, and you go for a cover.
That's just bad attention to detail. That was just, I don't know, man. These guys got to do it again because I know they're capable of better than that.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to get crushed. I only gave it a B because I know the effort was there and I know what they were going for, but they just didn't get there as far as I was concerned. So I give it a B and I'm fine with it.
I don't think you're going to get crushed. I'm looking at other reviews. I like to compare us to Bleacher Report, and they said the same thing. They gave it a B. It was too damn long, and it didn't live up.
Okay.
I know good brother, Inside Man, felt differently. This match and the latter match, he gave an A. You want to make sure I put that out there, but you know what? I'll concede to maybe the first match getting an A because I thought that Jordan Devlin really showed out. I can't concede to this main event though. It was something was missing. It was too damn long, and like those things that you mentioned, those examples, yeah. The chain. I get what they wanted to do with the chain. Chains are really hard to pull off.
Yeah.
So,
I thought the spot where he wrapped it on his knee and ended the match, I thought that was good. And that was
good.
Yeah, that was believable. But the other spots, not so much.
Yeah. You would need like a steel plate or something in your shin guard for something like that to work. But it is what it is. Overall, though, I would say it's a good start to the WrestleMania week. I don't know if you caught any of the Hall of Fame coverage at all. I didn't. It's is what it is. I will go back. I will watch RVD's speech. That's probably the one person whose speech I will take the time to watch because well deserved, and I just want to know what he's got to say.
I agree. I'll go back and watch that one for sure.
Yeah, outside of that, coming up this weekend, it's WrestleMania. It's the real WrestleMania. It's not Performance Center Mania, as Book would say. It's WrestleMania. It's at Raymond James Stadium. There's a whole set. The pictures are slowly getting leaked. I couldn't help myself. We got robbed last year. Matter of fact, we've gotten robbed the last 2 years because as far as I'm concerned, WrestleMania 35 was some bullshit. It was a Titantron as the set. That's lazy. That's extremely lazy. They went all out, balls to the wall. I haven't seen the final product, but from what I've seen of the stage, it's absolutely nuts. I haven't seen a stage this elaborate since I want to say 29, where they had like the Statue of Liberty and the Brooklyn Bridge or the Golden Gate Bridge, whatever bridge it was. It's better than that even. It's insane from what I've seen. So I can't wait to see the finished product. It's gonna be good. And of course, the best part about it is not what they're gonna be doing in WWE, but what we're gonna be doing here at 3GW. Having the whole crew together in one spot, watching 2 nights of WrestleMania. It's gonna be great. Gonna have good food, good conversation, and lots of booze. Can't wait. So be on the lookout for that. That will also be live streamed on YouTube. So hopefully, I will say this. As long as we don't cuss in the first 60 seconds, we good. The video will stay up. After that, it's free for all. So that being said, thank you all for listening. Hope you all enjoy Takeover, Stand and Deliver. Let us know what you all think. And we will speak to you all again this weekend. Ambassador?
Hey, always want to thank the listeners. We appreciate y'all, and let's hear from you. It's WrestleMania weekend.
WrestleMania. Let's go. Take care, everybody. We'll speak to y'all again soon.